So I think I finally figured this out. The real Jason Trestka that they replaced me with in America, well, what people believe to be the real guy, and they've been doing this ever since we were little, staging photos, like I said, with lookalikes and putting different things and different, they were getting into our house, the real house, and switching our photo albums when people were away and things like that, switching out pictures with their kid and their thing and their, while doing the same with me. um what I believe to be happened is the person that they believe to be the real Jason Trestka in America, he's a fraud. He may work with the government. He was the one framing me for trafficking. He was the one framing me all along. And now they sold me off. They're trafficking me as an adult, and they sold me off to Asians. And they have this little mock replica section still here somewhere that looks somewhat like Wallington but Asian. And that's they're gonna have the Asians probably sell me off to whoever, whether it be a corrupt dictator or this or that. And I think that's exactly what's going on, because they know most of these people behind this will probably be hung for treason. They need a middleman. They were framing me my whole life just so that the other guy could replace me. Because the other guy that my family believes is the real guy, the real Jason, I believe he's involved in that, in that type of stuff. And I was literally, ironically, being framed by myself. They tried to put the irony in that. But all these people should be hung and killed for treason, for trafficking, for everything. It's corrupt generals, it's corrupt intelligence agents. I even remember one time on what they would do, and they would have to swap me around places. They would hit me with certain weapons that would make me pass out, because even the doctor said, once told me, like, asked me, they're like, oh, how's that narcolepsy going? I don't know. They either inject you with something or they do something to knock you out, and it's like you just fall asleep out of nowhere. And I remember one time being at the hospital, they were like, how's that narcolepsy going? And I was like, narcolepsy? What are you talking about? Because they would switch us out at the switch me out at the hospitals. They would either have somebody pick me up, or I don't know how they did that. But sometimes they would just grab me, because and they would brainwash you to forget that you were fell or passed out or whatever. Because I even remember one time walking down Park Ave, I was in the fake spot, because they said, oh, look towards New York. And I look towards New York, and I see the skyline is wrong. And then all of a sudden, it's like nothing happened, but apparently I passed out. Somebody grabbed me up, brought me back to the right place, switched the time and date on my phone, so it's like I never left anywhere. And I see a guy walking off with a wheelchair. And then he turns down the block, and I see like this pickup truck speeding, coming back out, like they just dropped me off there, and then I was back in the real place. And I don't know. This is just like some fucked up shit. And I have reason to believe it's the guy who they believe, even my family believes, is the real Jason. That was the one behind it, behind framing me all along and doing all that. And that's what I have a reason to believe, at least at this point. But this probably will never reach anyone anyway, because by the end of this, they're going to hack the rest of my accounts. They're going to delete whatever they want. They're going to pretty much try to cover this up fully. It's pretty obvious. And I just know that I'm going to be going down fighting. I'll never sleep again, dude. Even though they could put you to sleep, it's like... I even remember I was the one that didn't go to sleep the first time I got grabbed. It was when my parents were initially remodeling the house. They were fixing the kitchen and the living room. And apparently, I know now, they went to stay at a hotel because it was just like tarps, you know, no wall. And somehow they pulled things off, these traffickers or whatever. I mean, I believe they're child traffickers. They're just human traffickers in general. I believe they just traffic humans in general. That's what they do. But I have reason to believe that my parents went to the hotel with the wrong kid, because that night I remember during the afternoon, I came out of the room and I was asking, I was like, Mom, Dad, like, where is everybody? Nobody was there. And then, I don't know, I went back in my room. Somehow I fell asleep again. And I come back out, and it was just a guy who looked like my dad. That was the theme of this, a bunch of lookalikes. And I was asking, I was like, where's Danielle? Where's Mom? Where's whatever? And they said, my dad's just like, oh, don't worry about that. Well, what I believe to be my dad. Oh, don't worry about that. And at that point, he told me to go to sleep, go to bed. So I did. I was probably only like 3 years old. And wow. Yeah, something ain't adding up with that one. But according to my memory, that night I heard people coming in through the tarp, and they were saying, I got scared, so I hid under the covers. They grabbed me. I remember screaming, Dad, Dad, help, Mom, Dad, help. I remember the guy saying, oh, bring in the other kid real quick. And the one guy asked about the other kid, and he's like, oh, he's just sleeping like a baby. He's fine. And that was one time that I remember vaguely being kidnapped. Wow. But I also have reason to believe that the government has conscious swapping technology that most people don't know about. And they kind of use this in these operations somehow. That's fucked up. I just know that I knew my real family, my supposed real family, as well as the staged ones. Uh, but they were bringing me back, and they were repeatedly bringing me back and forth from the real place to the fake place through my life. And towards my adult years, they were only bringing me to the real place to frame me, pretty much. And, I mean, that alone shows there's a trafficking element to all of this. And I have reason to believe that the person that they know, my family knows as me, believes that that's the real me. Except the one proof that he's not is the nose. I guarantee you he has a different nose than everybody in the family. I guarantee you, we all had, my family, we all had that nose. And I've seen other staged families, and that's how it kind of works. Like, none of them look alike. And there's something about it that doesn't make sense. And somebody tried to tell me that years ago. They were like, Jay, like when I was dating this girl, Lily, they said, Jay, don't you notice? Her and her brother don't look anything alike. Her mother and father don't look anything alike. This, that, like it's a staged family, dude. Uh, the only time that I knew for sure I was in the real place in the recent years and time would have been when I was in Manhattan and New York City. And that was probably as real as it got for me. Because somebody even told me before I knew what was going on. They said, Jay, I've been watching this for a while. You don't understand what this is and who you are. They said something like, the other guy already replaced you. The other guy already replaced you. You can't go back home. And they said it's he replaced you because you guys already started looking nothing alike. I guess by mid-20s or so, we started looking nothing alike. But I think he disconnected from my real family for a while as well, which allowed me some time with them, possibly through my 20s. Possibly. I don't know. Because apparently he's built bigger than me. He has different nose, like I said. Just different things. Like I said, he might even work for the FBI. I don't know. And that's how there's a good possibility that he just believes he doesn't even know that we were switched through our lives. So he actually just believes, wait, I'm trying to get rid of this guy that's selling, or he's being tricked himself. Because even when they would frame me, they would look for a look-alike, and that's why they keep pointing at this thing on my eye. This thing on my eye. But that doesn't mean much, because first of all, one time I was taken to the hospital, they said we had a girl that knew something about skin. She injected your pore with something. They told me they're like, that's so we could keep track of you, because there's a lot of lookalikes in this, so we could keep track of the real you. Because they knew it would like clog the pore and cause one of these, whatever the hell these things are. But they were using other lookalikes to frame me, as well as different other tactics and different things. But I have reason to believe that even the person that believes he's Jason Trestka in America is also being tricked. I believe that he also is being tricked in some way. Or he knows what's going on. There's that possibility as well. He might know exactly what's going on. But he might not know that we were switched. He might just believe that I'm some guy trying to pretend to be him. That's a possibility as well. All I know is I have to go down fighting, whatever this is, because I never got the chance to have a real life because of it. A life of my own. You know, like the regular things. Even if I would get a good job, they would always send in like agents or whatever to sabotage me, or I would get a girlfriend, but they would hack the phones and redirect the communications, so I was only communicating with a honey trap that looked like the girl and things like that. Although some of them weren't honey traps, some of them actually came in and tried to help and tell me things and save me, let's just say. I remember one specifically that tried to save me a bunch of times while I was in the real place. Unfortunately, I think she got like gamma ray blasted or microwave, because I remember them telling me that, oh, this is the one that likes you. And I should have listened. The problem is people were telling me such bullshit that it came to the point where you don't know who to believe. There was just so much disinformation involved. But I remember there was one supposed girl who looked exactly like the real Lily, who just she came in a couple times to try to save me and get me to realize what was going on. But I couldn't figure it out because they had me locked on this main idea of, oh, they're framing me for stuff I didn't do. They're framing me. They're doing this. They're doing that. So I was stuck on that main idea rather than seeing the bigger picture. And that's what someone told to me the last time I was in New York City in, I guess it would have been the summer of 2025. They said you don't really understand what's going on. You can't go back home. That's when they were telling me that the other guy who replaced you looks nothing like you. So even if I went back home to my real home, they would have, like my own family wouldn't have, they would have thought that I was like the imposter or whatever the case may be. And that's why they kept telling me, like, you can't go home. And in the last year or so of this, I just know there was one girl that looked like the supposed Lily that came in 3 times, supposedly. She even used her own money to try to pull it off. 3 times to try to help. And the most that she ended up getting with me was the lunch at the park, at the Saddle River Park in because they even swapped people out at that time. And that's why that was like the most, even if, I don't know if that was her at this point. I don't know which one was which. They even staged my entire like internet to revolve around me. Like fake news, let's just say, and fake CGI influencers, which I understand, AI and CGI is becoming a thing, but this is a little bit different. This was more so to manipulate me specifically into believing even certain narratives dealing with what was happening to me, when it's a little bit simpler than that, which is the fact that I was most likely trafficked and being used as a cover for these people to traffic others. It's pretty simple. Like they said, the best prison doesn't have bars. You know, just like a slave. If the slave doesn't have chains, how do they know that they're a slave? You know, they don't. Then everything looks. It's about. I even remember a girl I met in my early 20s. She said some shit like, "Jay, you think you control you. You think you know, like, you think you're controlling your own life, but you're not." In other words, she told me some shit like that. She's like, somebody else is pulling these strings. And I just don't know. Somebody else is pulling these strings. Oh yeah, and just that last time I was in New York, somebody told me that. Like they said, that's how they're doing this, Jay. They're staging your rides home. And in other words, I'm even a lot older than I believe to be. The date is possibly different than I believe it to be. Um, there's a lot of factors to that. The year could even be different than I believe it to be. When they're controlling all your information and all your date and time and your everything, how do you know anything at that point? And I even remember as a teenager somebody telling me that. They were like, Jay, I thought the guy was bullying me, but he even told me, he's like, dude, I'm not bullying you. I'm just trying to tell you the truth. And the truth is really harsh. But that was the guy that told me. He's like, I have a uncle in black ops that looks like your dad, and a cousin that looks like you, and blah blah blah. Like I forget exactly what he said, but he said how they were, you know, kind of like hinting how they were staging stuff. And that's why I had a friend in New York that told me, and even girls have told me that I met through time. They said, dude, it's your town. One girl told me, like, these were people who had friends in the government, I guess, and stuff, and they said they staged your whole town in a mock, like a realistic mock practice, military kind of practice space, and it's your town. You have to leave. And they said how they were doing it since you were a little kid, and that's why you don't even know. But like I said, the last time I was in New York, the I was told, they're like, dude, you're in New York City. We can't replicate New York City. You're in the real place. Do not go home. They're staging your rides, your buses, your Ubers, your different things. They're staging your rides to bring you here or wherever. I think there's 2 spots. And they just kept saying, we're staging your rides. You can't go home. You don't have a home. The other guy already replaced you because you look nothing alike anymore. Apparently, we only looked fairly similar through our teenage to 20s. And that's why somebody was even telling me, it's like, dude, you need to gain more weight. You'll look like him again. Or you need to do this or that. And I didn't really understand what they meant by that. I even had a girl tell me, she's like, I know your real family and the fake you, but I know you as well. And she's like, I could tell because you look like your real family. He doesn't. But I'm being sold off by corrupt American government. So I don't know. I would have preferred to be killed, if I have to be honest with you. I didn't want to be killed, but these are traffickers and stuff. I think they want to make their money, and it's fucked up. But I prefer death. That's why I'm going down fighting. I don't care. If this place is staged, that means everything is staged. It's real, yet it's not. But what I mean is, it's staged. That means you fight. Because they're not going to get away with having sticker license plates in a real, legitimate country. Printouts, let's just say stickers. So, in any legitimate country, and that's what some of the plates are. Some of them are real plates, but those, like I said, every country has vehicle registration and plates and things like that. Even if you are with the military and they allow you to, let's say, bring your vehicle, the whole thing is staged to a degree anyway. I mean, it would have to be. I hear gunshots and at nighttime you hear gunshots and what else? Almost like what would you call it? I'm sorry, brain fart. Like tank blasts going off and just different shit, different crazy shit. But yeah.